it's me, your girl Ziggy, and I feel like Messy Maya at the intro of Formation. Bitch, I'm back by popular demand. I know a lot of you are wondering where I've been, but with the NBA Finals in full swing, I have been inundated with basketball, and I have not been able to talk to you, my love bugs, about it. But here we are in between game 6 and 7. Obviously, game 7 is coming up, and we have the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think we thought it would be any other type of finals except for with all of the extra drama going on. And that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk not so much about basketball, but about what commentators have to say about other people who don't play basketball. So, if anyone watches First Take, it is a opinion show between Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. I'm not actually sure what's going to happen with First Take after Skip leaves this summer, but that's neither here nor there. This past Friday, Stephen A. Smith had a lot to say about Mrs. Curry, Aisha Curry, that is, not Sonia Curry. And from Madame Noir, they were able to get the transcript of what he said. And so I'm going to read what Stephen A. Smith said, and then I am going to tell you all what I think. So stay with me. Stephen A. She stepped out of line. She stepped out of pocket. I'm trying to sound as appropriate as I possibly can. You are the wife of Steph Curry. You are a reflection of him. What you do is a reflection on the organization he works for. You have to be mindful of that. You can't get caught up in your own individual emotions and having this zest to speak out to the point where it compromises your husband. And the fact that she did that, she was wrong. It came across as very classless. He goes on to say, she's an adorable young lady with an incredibly promising future, but you just can't do that. He goes on to say, in conclusion, as beautiful as everybody wants to say Aisha Curry is, and she is, Savannah is something special. She's wonderful, inside and out. She sits there. She doesn't bring any attention to herself. She never tweets and goes out there and calls out the league and stuff like that. And nobody is more scrutinized than her husband. If this were Savannah acting like this, do you know how much heat LeBron James may have taken? I just want people to think about that. So obviously they're talking about Savannah Brinson, LeBron's wife. Now what I'm not going to do is keep Savannah in this argument. She did not volunteer herself for this argument, so I'm not going to keep her in it. We're all women. We all should support each other, and that's that. But what I am going to do is address Mr. Stephen A. Smith and him saying that Aisha was out of pocket, out of line, and that she should sit there and be a quiet little meek housewife. I'm sorry. I am absolutely sorry, sir. You are completely incorrect. The world recently was introduced to Aisha Curry. She's been out there for a while, and she's been speaking her mind this whole time. Now the issue is that people put Steph and Aisha in this box because subconsciously they're light skinned, so that means they're naturally weak and docile, and that they're not going to speak out, and that they're not going to get angry, and they're never going to show any emotion. No. Let's be very clear. Let's look at their names. Wardell and Aisha, very much so, act as a Wardell and an Aisha. This should not be a surprise to anyone at all. He was mad. She was mad. Was she not reflecting her boo? Yes, she was. Homeboy took out his mouth guard, threw it, chucked it. Homeboy should have ducked it. He got hit, but he should have ducked. And he looked to the right. This is bullshit. Excuse my language. This is bullshit. And Dub Nation and anybody with eyes watching basketball that's not a Cleveland jock rider would understand that was a BS call. And guess what? She took to Twitter. That is what Twitter does, right? Isn't that the purpose of Twitter? To go out, get what you need to say in 140 characters or less, and then move on. But to insinuate that she stepped out of line as a woman or as a wife is completely asinine. Completely. So we're going to go, because we take this a million in one directions, right? But honestly, at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith, he's a victim of ESPN's, tired, poor production. That's really all it does. To ESPN, they have the same raggedy storylines across all their shows. If you watch Mikey Mike, First Take, His and Her, Sports Nation, all that other one in the afternoon with Michelle Beadle, it's the same storyline. So I get that Stephen A. He's a victim of the, producing of ESPN. But then I'm wondering, ESPN is getting off on basketball-wise headlines? Really? Really? In the middle of the 2016 NBA Finals, we're not talking about players. We're not talking about injuries. We're not talking about production. We're not talking about how great someone performed. We're literally talking about someone's wife who does not play basketball. I'm sorry, Aisha is not a basketball player. And Aisha is entitled to think and tweet what she wants. I'm sorry. It's not her job. It's not her employer. She said it's bogus. The refs. She didn't say anything about Adam Silver. She didn't talk about his mama. She ain't said nothing about Joe Lacob. She ain't said nothing about nobody. Talk about the refs. Matter of fact, she wasn't even talking about the refs. She was making an assessment from what she's seen. The same thing we all seen on the TV. So can't even be mad at her. And then I'm like, okay. So you have this poor producing by ESPN where Stephen A. is the victim of this terrible storyline, right? And so because of that, they want to have like this basketball wives type of thing. I'm sorry, Aisha is not a basketball wife type of character. You ain't gonna see her fighting and scrapping and doing all that ratchetry. So get it together. Don't be trying to use her as a plot in one of your twisted storylines because you can't come up with anything else to talk about. ESPN. But then I thought, this is the interesting point, right? The WNBA is celebrating their 20th year, right? Their 20th season. And amongst all these headlines that's happening on all these talk shows, no one's talking about the WNBA. No one's talking and celebrating that, right? But yet, on First Take, we're talking about Aisha's tweet. A tweet. We're not talking basketball. We're not talking about women's basketball. We're talking about a tweet. Really? Where's Allen Iverson and Nikita? A tweet? Really? Really? Like the sports world is so slow that we're literally talking about a tweet of a player's wife. Like, are we going to talk about what they made for dinner next? Like, seriously? Like, is this literally what our sports news is coming to? Because as a sports enthusiast, I actually expect more about sports. I actually don't really care about the partners, wives, husbands, boyfriends, whatever, of the athletes. I don't care. If that's how she felt, okay. If you're so mad, then guess what? Boo, cry, river, build a bridge, and get over it. Now let's talk about something that's relevant, like the NBA Finals and what's happening on the court, and not whose wife is tweeting what, or whose mama is tweeting what, or whose child is tweeting what. I don't care. So then I start to think even more, right? Because I'm like, wow, Stephen A. really said that. Like, the line that got me the most is, what did he say? You can't get caught up in your own individual emotions and having this zest to speak out. At what point, when in marriage, did anyone say, I will no longer have my own thoughts. I will adopt the thoughts of my husband. And that will be the only thing I ever think for the rest of my life. Yeah, that's a negative. And then I said for Stephen A. to be an older black man, to then patronize Aisha, like she's adorable. Now that's a grown-ass woman, sorry boo. She's in her late 20s, 2 kids, takes care of her own, has her own career. And she was doing that long before she was known as Steph Curry's wife, so don't get it twisted. Homegirl was working way before y'all knew who she was. But then I thought, supportive of her? Why does it have to be so negative that she spoke out? Why is it that he has to support that angry black woman theme? Because that's really all it is. It's saying, oh, as a black woman, she's going along that theme of being angry, neck popping, and all of that stuff, popping off at the mouth. Well, how about she's just being a supportive wife? Or how about she's being a basketball enthusiast and she's calling it like she sees it? So, yeah. I mean, and then Aisha, she tweeted it and then she deleted it. And I'm like, really? Wow. Like, how much influence did the NBA have on her, getting her to delete that tweet? I personally don't think the lives of athletes, their tweets should be regulated by the NBA. Like, if they're not literally criticizing, like, a particular person or the team, like, I get sort of that, right? It's a double-edged sword. So her tweet itself is like, oh, it's rigged. Obviously, she knows, right? That she's not that dumb. She was frustrated. She was upset. Long day. They detained her dad because obviously he looked like a criminal, whatever the case is. That's a completely separate situation. But come on now, Aisha, I think she's fairly intelligent enough to know that overall, the backdrop of the NBA, right? So I'm like, it's not her employer. It's her husband's employer. And to some degree, she is a reflection of him. But I also feel like if she likes sports, why she wouldn't be able to speak her mind on what's happening, whether she was married to a player, the reigning MVP or not. Because let's face it, and Steve Kerr said it, the MVP is not getting MVP courtesies at all. You would think that LeBron James was the MVP because of all the courtesies and concessions he's been getting. So let's call it for how it is. Who wouldn't conclude that perhaps there's some backdoor business going on? Perhaps there's some backdoor business. So, at the end of the day, as far as I see it, there are two types of NBA wives, right? You have the first type, they sit quietly, they congratulate their man, they support in silence. They sit on the sidelines and they go, good job, right? And then you have the second type, the writers, right? Those are the ones that are in your face. When their man is doing something good, they're up jumping. If their man is doing something bad, they're yelling at them. They're going hard because those women probably care or care more about the actual sport of basketball, right? The first type, they're like, oh, this is my man. This is what he does. So, yeah. The second type, they're like, oh, no, I love basketball, but you need to get it together. And so you say type 1. Since Stephen compared Savannah, this is not me saying talking bad about Savannah, but Savannah's more of the type 1, like, okay, this is my man, okay, good job, you did this, blah, 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 blah. Right? And you can have the Lalas are in that category and a few others, right? They're just like, okay, this is my man, this is what you do, good job, man. But then you have the second type, the Rough Riders, right? And that's where your Savannahs come from. Right? I mean, not your Savannahs, your Aishas come from that. I mean, Gabrielle Union, the homegirl, be about 2 seconds from telling Dwayne Wade to pick himself up. I mean, you've never seen her courtside at a Miami Heat game. Homegirl goes off. And then my favorite of them all, as crazy as she sort of portrays herself on TV, none other than Miss Jackie Christie, honey. Let me tell you, she plays not a their game at all with her husband, especially when he was in the league. So, you know what, Stephen A.? Let women be free to express themselves when it comes to their partner and when it comes to the sport as much as however they want. Everyone is going to just sit there and go, good job. No, some people get into it. And no, Aisha and Gabrielle and whoever else who are just as passionate about the game should not be penalized for expressing themselves. They have fans, they have friends, they have family who share similar thoughts, so they could just be going on an exchange with on Twitter. But they shouldn't be, cast out or told to be quiet. Like, are we seriously doing that in 2016? It's like, because this is who you're married to, you must be quiet? Yeah, absolutely not. And you yourself, sir, need to get all of your life, get it together, and figure it out. Now, I get that you're paid to have an opinion on what the things that the producers tell you to have an opinion about. I get that. No shade, no tea, no love. I get that. But I think you, homeboy, sort of need to talk to your producers at ESPN if First Take is going to continue and talk about having real stories that's related to sports. Because that is, at the end of the day, you're on a sports network, right? A journalist reporting out on sports news. So let's do that. Let's work on getting, substantial stories, Lord Jesus, I guess I can't talk anymore, about getting stories that are related to sports. And talk about that and not what people guys are doing and what women should or should not be doing in 2016. Because I believe you have a daughter. And I'm quite sure you have something to say. Someone told your daughter just to sit, be quiet, and shut up and listen to her man. Not today. I'm about to play Beyonce. Who the fuck do you think I am? About to play Don't Hurt Yourself. Not today. All right. That's it. Child loves.